Minister said.
I rise to express great sympathy with the motion standing in the name of the noble Lord Dodds of Duncairn. I hope to do so briefly, and I'll be assisted in that by the fact that, unlike other noble lords, I'm not going to talk about the Windsor framework, which, after all, has appeared only in the last 2 days, while this statutory instrument has been on the table now for several weeks. I'm not, in fact, really going to talk about Ireland or Northern Ireland. I'm going to talk briefly about the United Kingdom. And in saying this, I like my noble friend, the Minister, and I respect him for the work he does for the government and for the country at large. So he will understand, as other speakers have said, these remarks are not intended to refer to him in any personal way at all. But it is, objectively, a humiliation for the government to send up a Minister of the Crown to this House to ask permission to take powers to erect border infrastructure between one part of our country and another. It is a humiliation that is unprecedented, as far as I'm aware, in any other country. I cannot think of another country that would accept it, for the convenience of a foreign power. It is a humiliation that is unprecedented in our history as a United Kingdom, certainly since 1801. It is a humiliation that would astonish even the generation of politicians who in the 1960s and 1970s argued so strongly that we should enter the European Union, the common market, whatever name it was known by at the time. It is an illustration of the constitutional havoc that our 50 years wrong-headed membership of the European Union has wreaked upon this country. I will only ask my noble friend, who has a strong and long-standing connection with Berkshire, if he would accept and advocate that the people of Berkshire might be surrounded by border infrastructure separating them from the rest of the country, and how he would expect them to feel and react if that were asked of them. Now, this instrument has been on the table since long before the Windsor framework came to light on Monday. When that came to light, and the very positive words of our Prime Minister were uttered about how the border would become effectively invisible or painless, I'm not quoting him, of course, but words to that effect. And I wrote to my noble friend briefly, and I said, could I assume that he'd be withdrawing this instrument and deferring it, because the situation had changed, according to the Prime Minister, in a very dramatic way. I don't accuse the Minister of rudeness in not replying to me, because ministers never reply to Conservative backbenchers. Maybe it would be different if there was a front bench, never to queries like that. So I don't accuse him of that. I didn't expect a reply, it might be said. But I put it to him now that he has an opportunity to defer this. He has an opportunity to stand at the dispatch box and say, we can put this to one side for a moment. We need to look at the implications of the Windsor framework before we press ahead with this. Because these powers, as I say, they do nothing to the credit of the United Kingdom. They do nothing to the credit of our national pride and self-belief. They do nothing to help the people of this country in working together as one united realm.
My Lord, I find it rather odd that no one has